easily, yeah, you can easily refer to this recorded video when you feel like you want to do a bit of revision yourself. All right, so let's look at where we stop. Do you still remember where we stopped? It's okay. Over here. Over here. Yep, done. Over here. Okay, I remember we talked about C and D. We stop at this D. Okay, so let's just do a recap. Then we can continue to the next lesson. Okay, so over here, I think you have questions on part C, state the roots of the graph. So can you still remember what's the meaning of the roots of the graph?
The roots of a graph. No.
All right. So in fact, if the question asks you for the roots of the graph, this is the graph. Okay. So probably I have thought about you can actually make use of decimals. To help you out with the graphing of any equation. Okay, so let me just test one. Okay, you can see on the left, which is your homework. On the right, I think you should be able to see the website decimals, right?
Yeah.
Okay, good. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to key this graph y equals to minus x squared plus 3x plus 10. Okay, so graphically it's supposed to be, graphically it should look like this. Okay, graphically. Okay, let me just zoom into it. Graphically it's supposed to, this equation should look something like this. All right, but over here they ask you state the roots of the graph. So what it means is you are going to find out what is the roots. Okay, so another way to, let me just get this into a PowerPoint so it's easier for us to take notes. Let me just launch my PowerPoint. All right, here it is. All right, so I have just taken a screenshot. So they ask for the roots of the equation. So you have to understand what's the meaning of roots of the graph. And the graph is defined by this equation, y is equal to minus x squared plus 3x plus 10. All right, so when you are asked to find the roots of the graph, what they are asking you to find is the intersection, okay, the intersections with the x-axis. So this is the x-axis, okay, and this is the y-axis. All right, so this is the x-axis, which is the horizontal axis. This is the y-axis, which is the vertical axis. So if they ask you for the roots of the graph, what they are asking you is these 2 points. Can you see that these 2 points? These 2 points, they intersect with the x-axis. Can you see that? Okay. So basically, they are asking you to find out these 2 points. So if you read from this graph, right? If you can read from these 2 graphs, if you can read from this graph, so what is this point? This is x equals to 5, right? Can you see? This point is x equal to 5. Okay. Then what is this? This is okay. So if you read it, this is 0. This is -1, and this is -2, and then -3, -4, and -5. So this is your -2. This point is your -2. X equals to -2. So by looking at the graph, you have already found the roots of the graph. So your answer should be x equals to -2, x equals to 5. So what they are asking you is you need to find these 2 points which intersect with the x-axis. So far so good.
Yeah.
Okay, good. So the next step is they are asking you what is the y-intercept. I remember the question already. Okay, let me just duplicate this. So previously they asked you for the roots of the graph. Now they ask you for the y-intercept. So what is the meaning of intercept? Any idea? What's the English meaning of intercept?
Go through.
Yeah.
Like stand in the middle.
Yeah. The meaning of intersect. So the basic meaning of intersect is basically is cut or cut across.
Okay.
So it's just like your cross junction, you know. Yeah. You crisscross, cut across, you know. So that's the meaning of intersect. So now they ask you for the y-intercepts. So when they ask you for the y-intercept, right, what they are asking you is you look at the point where it cut the y-axis. So the meaning of y-intercept is the point which, okay, cuts the y-axis. So if you look at this whole graph, right? If you look at this whole graph, the point that it cuts the y-axis, this is the point, right? Can you see? Which is y equals to 10.
Okay.
Okay. So to summarize, if they ask you for the roots of the graph, okay, they are asking you for the x-intercept in a way lah. Or in fact, we don't call it the x-intercept. We call it the x-intersections point. Intersection point. Okay, roots of the graph, x-intersection points. So the x-intersection points, these are the two x-intersection points. Okay, for this graph, x equals to -2, x equals to 5, right? So if they ask you for the y-intercept of the graph, okay, so they are asking you for the not x, should be y-intersection. So they are asking you for the y-intersection point. Okay, so if they ask you for the y-intersection point, if you look at the graph here, so can you see y equals to 10 is the y-intersection point. This is the y-axis, right? So the y-intersection point is y equals to 10. So are you clear?
Yeah.
Okay, good. So basically, if you get this kind of question, you need to draw the graph out. If you can draw the graph out, then you can just you need to memorize the meaning of roots of the graph, and then of course you need to memorize the meaning of y-intercept of the graph. Okay, so these are the meaning. All right, then the question is, what if you cannot use technology? That means you cannot use decimals, okay? And you are asked to find the roots of the graph and y-intercept of the graph. So how are you going to do it? If you are not given the technology, okay, you cannot use decimals. How are you going to find out this? Okay, how are you going to find out this? The roots of this, and then of course the y-intercept. So what I'm doing here is I am actually teaching you how you can find out the roots of this graph and the y-intercept of this graph or this equation using method 2. Okay, so over here, method 1 from the graph. Okay, this is method 1. Okay, so both of these, you can do it with this method 1, but how can you do it with method 2? Okay, so what do you observe in the graph here, actually? What do you observe in the graph here? These 2 points. What do you observe here? So let's talk about the roots of the graph first. What do you observe here? These 2 points.
There.
Any idea?
one is negative, one is positive.
Very good. So the first observation is two values for roots. What's your second observation? Or do you have other observations?
They are both on the x-axis.
Yeah. Okay. What's the meaning of this? They are on the x-axis. Okay. This is they are on the x-axis. So this is the English meaning. What's the mathematics meaning? Any idea?
No.
Okay. The mathematics meaning of this is y is equal to 0.
Oh, I see.
So why I say y equals to 0? So you can actually see. Okay, so can you see that? Okay, can you, let me just make this line bigger. So this is the line. I'm going to make it bigger. Can you see the blue line here? Can you see the blue line? Is it big enough for you to see it?
Yeah.
Okay, so probably I should use red so that it stands out. Okay, can you see the red line here? So this is, if I put the line here, okay, this is your y equals to, I hope you know, this is your y equals to 15. This line, right? So what about if I move the line down? What if I move this line down, copy and paste? Let me move my line to this. So this is at what level? Y equals to 10, right?
Yeah.
How do I see it? This is 15, this is 10. So let me continue until here. So the line is at what level? This is the y equals to 0 level, right? Right?
Yeah.
So the English meaning is this: they are on the x-axis. So when the points are on the x-axis, mathematically it means y equals to 0. You can look at it from here. So this line is on the x-axis, right? Can you see this line is on the x-axis? Okay, and this line is on the x-axis, which means y is equal to 0. Okay, so this is the y equals to 15 level. This is the y equals to 10 level. And then if you talk about the x-axis, so which is this, is the y equals to 0 level. So that's why I say when just now your second observation, they are both on the x-axis, which means y is equal to 0. So can you capture this?
Okay.
So I'm going to teach you how this y equals 0, you can actually make use of y equals to 0 to figure out the answers with second method. So the method 2 is if they ask for the roots of this equation, right? So which means y is equal to 0. Okay, y is equal to 0. Why? Because they are on the x-axis. That's your second observation, right? Right. And then the first observation is there are two values.
Okay.
Okay. So with the first observation, so the roots of this equation is, so you must have x equals to something and then x equals to something. So basically you are going to have two answers. Okay, from the first observation. And then the second observation, they are both on the x-axis. Okay, so they are both on the x-axis, so which means y equals to 0. So what you need to do is you just have to replace y equals to 0. And then you have to solve this equation. Do you know how to solve this equation? Have you learned? 3 terms. This is a 3-term equation.
Okay.
So tree multiplication, how you do it? You use factorization. Let me just give you a simple one first. Right? So if you are given 1, 2, 3, so this is the first term, this is the second term, the third term. So you are given 3 terms and you equate these 3 terms to 0, you can use factorization method. To find out the x value. Okay, so how do you do factorization? Yep, let me just do a recap. How do you get x squared? X times x, you get x squared. Okay, and then how do you get -2? You have a few combinations. You can have +1, -2, and you can have -1, +2. And like I say, there is only one combination that can give you +x, right? Can you remember? So the combination is this. Okay, the combination is this: -1 and +2. So you don't have to take this. So if this is the combination, so the answer will be x -1 and then x +2. So you can actually simplify this. Okay, you can simplify this into x -1 and then times x +2. So I'm going to just give myself some space. So I was saying you end up with this. So you are going to have x -1 and then x +2, and you equate this to 0. Okay, then of course, after the factorization, what is x? What is this x and what is this x? Can you still recall?
1 is -1.
Oh no, x equals to 1. And then over here,
Yeah.
1 is -2. Do you know why?
No.
Because x -1. Okay, so if I get this, let me get this. Okay, just now you say one of them is x equals to -1, right? Actually, -1 you cannot get -1. I tell you why. So the answer is x equals to 1 or x equals to -2. How I get these two? What you need to do, you just take this x -1, you equate it to 0. Then you also equate this x +2, equate it to 0. So if you compute this, you're going to get, you compute this, you're going to get x equals to 1. And then if you compute this, you're going to get x -2. So that's how you can get x equals to 1 and x equals to -2. These two.
Could I ask a question about factorization?
Yeah, continue. Yeah, yes, please.
What if if it's 3 numbers just like this now, but the thing is the first number cannot make into the second number?
Okay, so that means, okay, I think you are probably asking, that means, okay, let's look at this example. That means this is our question. This question is -x squared plus 3x plus 10. So you are asking, okay, is there a possibility, no matter which combination I use, I will not get plus 3x? Is that your question?
Yeah.
Okay, so there is this possibility. There is this possibility. Okay, so if you somehow you cannot use basically you are asking me, what if I cannot use factorization to factorize this? Okay, then you have to use another method. Okay, which I will talk about, later on after this. Okay, so I'm going to show you factorization first.
Okay.
Okay, I'm going to show you the factorization method to find out the 2x value. Okay, so I hope you remember factorization method. So you are going to have, okay, let me just switch the equals to 0 to the right hand side. So you have first term, you have the second term, so you have the third term. So if you are given 3 terms and you equate the 3 terms to 0, you have to use factorization method to find out the 2 values of x. Okay, so how do you get, okay, let me just write it here. How do you get minus x squared? The only possibility is minus x, and then of course x. Then of course the next step is how you can get plus 10, right? How do you get plus 10? There are a few possibilities, but there is only one possibility that can give you plus 3x. Okay, you can test it out, but I will just give you the answer. Okay, so minus 2 and minus 5 will give you plus 10. Okay, and then these two combinations, this combination can give you plus 3x. I'm going to show you how. I'm going to show you only this combination can give you plus 3x. So if this is the combination, so what you do is minus x minus 2 and then x minus 5. So let me just do it. So expect it to see if I can get plus 3x. So minus x times x minus x squared. Minus x minus 5 plus 5x. So this is my second arrow. Minus 2 times x minus 2x. Minus 2 times minus 5 plus 10. So you can see that if I simplify it further, I'm going to get plus 3x. Can you see? Plus 3x here? So therefore, I say this is the only combination that can give you plus 3x. Okay, so this equation here can be factorized. So once it can be factorized, then I continue to find my x value. So the next step is, since I have this 2, right? So my next step is I just have to equate this to 0, equate this to 0. So if I equate this whole thing into 0, so my x is equal to -2, and then for this my x equals to 5. So these are the 2 answers. So that's how you can make use of this factorization method to find out the values of x and the other x. Okay, so this is method 2. So far so good. Okay. So what if you don't know how to use factorization method? Okay, so what if you don't know how to use factorization method? So if you don't know how to use factorization method, then you have to use a calculator. Okay, so minus x squared plus 3x, and then I think it's plus 10 equals to 0. So we are talking about the method 3 here. Okay, not factorization method, calculator. Okay, so that's just now you asked me a question. What if this equation cannot be factorized? So it cannot be factorized, then you use your calculator. Okay, so I'm going to show you how you can actually use your calculator. In fact, I already have I have the video record. I have the calculator method recorded down using my phone already. So I did it yesterday, by the way. Let me just go to my videos. So this is the one. Yeah, this is the one. Okay, so this is the calculator. So this is the video. So I will just leave the I will just share this link with you. So next time you just have to. This is, I'm not sure if you have this calculator. This is Casio FX975GX. So if you have another calculator, then of course, then we have to explore how we can use your calculator to figure it out. But this is a very standard calculator. Okay, so you just need to watch this. Is I think it's like less than 2 minutes, then you will know how to use your calculator. All right, so method 3 is calculator, and method 3 is a very fast way for you to find out the 2 answers. Okay, which I'm not going to show here because I already have it recorded down. All right, so that's how you can find your roots. Okay, with method 2 and method 3. Okay, then now let's talk about how we can find the y-intercept for this. The same question. So we talk about how we can find the roots. Okay, so now how to find the y-intercept. without using the graph. So like I say, what is so special for the y-intercept here? What's your observation here? What's so special here? What's your first observation? One value only, right?
Yeah.
One value only, okay? Compared to the roots, two values. So for the y-intercept, one value. What's your second observation?
Let's x equals to.
So this is where x equals to, so this y-axis is where x equals to 0. This is your, this y-axis, right, is actually where x equals to 0. I'm going to tell you how you can get what x is equal to 0. Okay, so I'm going to do a few more lines or a few more vertical line. Okay, so if I start from here, this is where your x is equal to -10, right? Can you see?
Yeah.
Yeah, because yeah, let me just move it up. So can you see that this line falls on, sorry. So this line falls on x equals to -10, right? And then if I'm going to have another line, so I put it here. So this is where your x is equal to -5, right?
Yeah.
And then if I move it to here, here means here. If I move it to here, so isn't this x equal to 0? Is on top of 0, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So the second observation for this should be it's on the y-axis. But what is the mathematics meaning of it is on the y-axis? So x is equal to 0. Proven by this, right?
Yeah.
All right. Okay. So x is equal to 0. So let's make use of this concept. X is equal to 0. So for the y-intercept, two observation. Number one, just one value. Okay. Second observation, it's on the y-axis, right? And the meaning, the mathematics meaning of this English statement is x equals to 0. So if your x is equal to 0, what you need to do, you just replace your x with 0. This is a times, like replace it with 0. So what do you get? So you will get minus 0 squared is 0. 3 times 0 is 0 plus 10. So the answer is y equals to 10. So far, so good?
Yeah.
So let's compare. Let's compare this method to the graph. So the y-intercept is y equals to 10. So y equals to 10. Yes, so y is equal to 10. So if I use method 1, I read from the graph, y is equal to 10. So I read from the graph, and if I don't read from the graph, I do it mathematically, y is equal to 10. So both answers are the same for y-intercept. So let's look at the roots. So for the roots, if I read it from the graph, one of the answers is x is equal to -2. The other answer is x equals to 5. So this is method 1, read from the graph. So what if I cannot read from the graph? So let's do it method 2, factorization. Can you see? X equals to -2 and x equals to 5. Both answers are the same. So are you convinced? So basically you have two methods to figure the roots and the y-intercept out. Okay, so if I were to write down a summary, okay, so the roots and then the y-intercept. two values, right? Two values, and then so you have two method. Method one, graph. Okay. Method two, factorization. Right? And then of course for y-intercept one value. So if method one, graph. Method two, okay. Method two is on the y-axis, right? So if it's on the y-axis, so what's the meaning of that? X equals to 0. Okay. So for this, for the factorization, if you still remember, it's on the x-axis. And what's the meaning of on the x-axis? Can you still recall? Which one is equal to 0 on the x-axis? Y is equal to 0.
Okay.
Right? So this
Yeah.
is factorization. Okay. If you cannot recall, right? If you cannot recall on the x-axis what is equal to 0, if you cannot recall on the y-axis what is equal to 0, what you could quickly do is this. So this is your y-axis, right? This is your x-axis. So you can just quickly fill this x-axis and y-axis with a few numbers. You will quickly find out. Okay, so you can quickly find out the meaning of x-axis and y-axis. And let me demonstrate to you. So sometimes some of my students, they always feedback to me, what if I cannot remember? So if they cannot remember, you just quickly do this. So let's find out on the x-axis, or what's the meaning of on the x-axis. So you don't have to memorize. So on the axis, so you on the x-axis, what you do is you just insert a line. So this is the x-axis, right? But before you do the on the x-axis, probably you want to do it for this one first. So this is what? This is where your y is equal to 2, right?
Yeah.
So this is your y equals to 2. Then this is your y equals to 1, right?
Mm-hmm.
So with your y equals to 2, this is your y equals to 2. This is your y equals to 1. Yeah, I think it makes sense for you to know that this is your y equals to 0, right?
Okay.
Yeah, does it make sense?
Kind of.
Okay, so you looks like you are not convinced. I mean, or probably you are still confused, but not so confused, a little bit confused. So let's do it again. So like I say, what's the meaning of on the x-axis, right? What's the mathematics meaning? Okay, what's the mathematics meaning of on the x-axis? So the first thing you do is you just put one line on the x-axis first. Okay, this is the line which is on the x-axis. Okay, so now before you can figure out on the axis what's the meaning of this line, so you don't do this line first. You probably want to put the line here. So if I ask you what is this line, can you see that this line is at y equals to 2?
Y equals,
right? Yeah. Then if this line is y equals to 2, then what is this line? Let me change the color so you can differentiate it. Hold on, let me just move it away. So what is this orange line? What's the value of this orange line?
Y equals to 1 and
Yes, y equals to 1, right? So if this line is y equals to 2, this line is y equals to 1. So does it make sense? This is y equals to something. So y is equal to 0. I mean this. Yes, this line. So does it make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah. So that means on the x-axis means y equals to 0. Okay. So this is how you get the mathematics meaning of on the x-axis. So then now we turn to y-axis. What's the meaning of y-axis? So this is your y-axis. This is your x-axis. So what's the meaning of on the y-axis? Okay. There's some students, they say, oh, I cannot remember. Okay, I don't know whether it's y equals to 0 or x equals to 0. I'm not sure which one. Okay, so you just test. Before you test, write down some numbers first.
Okay.
Okay, so this is your -1, this is your 0, this is your +1, right? So just draw a line somewhere first. Let's draw it here. So where is this line?
This line is on x -1.
This is x equals to -1, right? Right?
Yeah.
Good. So what is this line then? What's this line?
X equals to +1.
Very good. So with these two, does it make sense? If you put a line on the y-axis now, let me put a line on the y-axis. So this is your line on the y-axis. So if I ask you, what is this line then? So does it make sense for you to write is x equals to 0?
X equals to 0, yeah.
Yeah, so that's why on the y-axis, which you take y equals to 0 or x equals to 0?
X equals to 0.
Correct. So that's how you can choose not to memorize, but do it quickly on the spot. So on the y-axis, what it means? X equals to 0. Then with x equals to 0, you can quickly what? You are finding y-intercept, right? For the y-intercept, one value only. So on the y-axis, x equals 0. So you just put x equals 0 into so you just put x equals to 0. Can you see? It's on the y-axis, x equals 0. You just put the x equals to 0 into this. Then you will get the answer already.
Okay.
Okay. So of course, it takes a while for you to learn these steps, and if you keep doing it, then you will quickly get the y-intercept and the roots very fast. Okay.
Okay.
Good. Yep. So yeah. So let's move on then. So seems like now you have understood this. So y-intercept and then of course the roots. All right. Next. Yeah. So we stop at we finish paper 1. Now, so over here it says simplify this. Okay, of course, simplify, you just have to do expansion. All right. So once you do expansion, then evaluate. How do you evaluate this? You cannot, okay, I don't know how you get 1596, but if you use the calculator, you are not allowed to use the calculator because the word hence here. You know what's the meaning of hence?
No.
Hence means you need to make use of. Hence means you make use of your part A. Okay. So let's say this is part 1. So then therefore you need to make use of part 2.
How?
Yeah. So I'm going to demonstrate to you. Okay. Very good. Okay. But you need to know that when they say hence means you need to make use of the. So let's say you have a plus 2, a minus 2, and then you have expanded it into a squared minus 4, right? So then now they give you 38 times 40, right? 38 times 40 or 42? Let me double check. 38 times 42. They use hence. When they say use hence means you need to make use of, this is part 1, and this is part 2. And when they say hence, remember, next time hence means you need to make use of the previous step. So how do you do hence? So can you not see a plus 2, a minus 2? Can you not see 38 is what minus 2? Then 42 is what plus 2?
Okay.
Yeah. So answer my question. So what minus 2 is 38?
What minus 2
is 38.
What minus 2 equals to 38? Plus 2, 40.
Very good. So that means your question mark is 40. And next, what plus 2 is 42?
Plus 2. 40.
Yeah, good. Okay, good. Your job is half done already. So can you see that this whole thing is similar to above a plus 2 and a minus 2? Can you see that?
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Good. So let me just plug them side by side. Of course, probably we have to do something about it. Okay. It's not I think the order is different, right? So a plus 2, they put it in front. A minus 2, they put it at the back. So most likely I have to rearrange this. So let me rearrange it. So instead of minus 2, you have the plus 2 at the back, right? So I bring it forward. I'm sorry. So I just need to do 40 plus 2 in front. So it means for this term, I put it in front. So this is versus. And then now this 40 minus 2, I put it at the back. So I have already transferred this thing to here already.
Okay.
Okay. Okay, so far so good. So if I have transferred this to this, so can you not see that this is this? I mean, this is this, and this is this. So a plus 2 bracket times a minus 2 bracket is a squared minus 4. Then that means if now my a is replaced by 40, so it's 40 squared minus 4. Does it make sense?
Yes.
Okay, so if I give you another question like this, if I tell you a plus 1, a minus 1, so how do you do this? You expand it, right? Then you will end up with a squared minus 1, right? So now if I ask you what is 39 times 41? Okay, so how do you do this question? So you just have to find out what minus 1 is 39. And then of course, what plus 1 is 41. And then very obvious, the question mark here is actually 40. And then the question mark here is also 40. Okay. So once you have these two, you just have to like, in fact, this a plus 1 bracket times bracket a minus 1, you can also change the order to a minus 1, a plus 1. Okay. So once you have this, so you just have to ask yourself, a is 40. A is 40. And then if a is 40, so this one will give you a squared minus 1. So now my a is 40, so I just replace by 40. So I will get 40 squared minus 1. 40 squared is 1600 minus 1 is 1599. So does it make sense?
Yes.
So if I do this question just now, so I'm supposed to have, let me continue from here. So 40 squared is 1600 minus 4. So you should have 1596. So I think your calculator also show you 1596, right? Yeah. So that's how I can figure out the answer without using a calculator.
Okay.
Okay. So next, they use hands also. So how do you simplify? Okay, you simplify it like this already. Right. Okay, you already simplify. I think you make a mistake. Okay, let's do it together. So once again, you have to remember the three formulas. The common formula, a squared minus b squared, you will get a plus b, a minus b. That's the first formula. Second formula, a plus b bracket square. You will get how many terms? Do you get this? Is this correct?
Yes.
No.
What?
Wrong. you can actually expand it yourself and see for yourself. Okay, a plus b bracket square is a plus b bracket times a plus b. That means they times itself. Okay, so if you open it, a square plus ab, then I do below plus ba plus b square. You will see that you actually have one more term, which is this, which you missed out just now. So that's why I say here, if we come back to your question here, you make a mistake here. Can you see you have this x minus 2 bracket square, right? You only end up with 2 terms, while you're supposed to have 3 terms. Let me show you. X minus 2 square. How do you expand this? You do it this way.
Okay.
Right? So you just do the x square. One more time, minus 2x. And do for the below, minus 2x. Minus 2 plus 4. So can you see? You miss out the minus 4x. Can you see you miss out the minus 4x compared to your answer here? So that's why I say you make a mistake. Okay, but never mind. So the correct one is this. So now the answer is hence evaluate 78 square. 78 square. So if you're 78 square, then you ask yourself, what minus 2 is 78? So what minus 72? What minus 2 is 78?
What minus 2 was 76.
76 minus 2 is 74. 76 minus 2 is 74. So not 76.
Sorry, 80, 80,
yeah. 80, correct. So the question mark should be 80. So if 80 minus 2 bracket square, so that means 78 is replaced by, so your 78 here, right, is replaced by 80 minus 2 already. So you don't have to do 78 square. You just need to do this 80 minus 2 bracket square. So can you see that this is similar? The x is replaced by 80 already. Can you see?
Okay.
Can you see? So if the x is replaced by 80, so similarly, your every x here also replaced by 80. So that's how you can find out without using a calculator. Okay. So 6400 minus this is 6080 plus 4. So it's 6084, if I'm not wrong. Of course, you can use if you can use your calculator to help you with this plus minus. Right. So the answer is 6084. Let me see. 6084. Yeah, your answer is also 6084 using calculator. My answer is also 6084. Okay. So far, so good.
Okay.
All right. So that's how you can figure out the part A and part 2, the hence part. Okay. They say show your workings clearly. Yeah. These are the workings. Okay.
Okay.
Good. Next. Over here, A is directly proportional. Oh, wait. They say directly proportional. So when they say directly proportional, so that means I think this formula is wrong already. Oh, okay. No. No, you combine them together. Okay, good. So this is correct. This is for this part. This part. Okay. So you combine them together, so it's not wrong yet. So over here is inversely proportional to the square of C. Okay, very good. So this part is this. Okay, so you basically combine them together. So yeah, you have a good start. Okay, A is equal to K, then B over C square. Correct. They already give it to you. Anyway, they already give it to you. Now they say when A equals to 3, B equals to 1, C equals to 2, find K. So you just plug in all the numbers. So you plug in, then it's 12K. So K is equal to what? 12 is equal to 1K. So K is equal to
12.
Yes. How come you never continue? Did you continue? You never continue. So K is equal to 12. 2 marks. Okay. Now, if you already find out K equals to 12, and then the formula is KB over C square, and you know K is 12. So what you do, you just replace K with 12.
Mhm.
Okay, so you replace your K with 12. Okay, now
Mhm.
you can do B already. Find B when A equals to 4. So A equals to 4. I replace A with 4. C is -2, so C is -2. So C is -2. I replace my C with -2. Then you just use your calculator. So this is 4. This is -2 bracket square. So this will give me 4. So 4 times 4 is 16 equals to 12B. So B is equal to 16 over 12. So if you use your calculator, you divide by 4, you get 4, divide by 4, you get 3. So it's 4 over 3, you simplify 1 1/3. That's how you get your B. Are you clear?
Okay.
All right, so pretty easy. Next, expand and simplify. Okay, expansion is quite easy. This one, this is your first arrow, and this will be your second arrow. So correct. Then so this is x, this is x, so x minus, okay, you get this, then you get this. Okay, correct. So how many terms you have here? First, second, third. So you have 3 terms. All right. Next, over here, times, good. Times, good. Then this combined, good. Okay. So you score 4 marks. Okay. So expansion, you have no problems. But I think a factorization, you need to work on it. Okay.
Okay.
Therefore, find the area. What's the formula for trapezium? Can you still remember? Formula, area of trapezium. Any idea?
No, I forgot.
Okay. If you don't have any idea how to find the area of trapezium, if you cannot remember the formula, then you can actually use divide and conquer. Divide and conquer. I'm going to explain to you what is divide and conquer. This is a P6 method or P6 technique. So you just need to divide this into, this is a triangle, and you can also divide it again. So this is a second triangle. This is the height 6 cm, right? Then this is your third shape, which is a rectangle. So can you see that the trapezium, what I have done, I have split the trapezium into one triangle, one rectangle, and another triangle. So your job is to find out the area of this triangle, area of this rectangle, area of this triangle. So does it make sense? Divide and conquer. Yeah. So what is the height here? The height is 6 cm. Okay. Then what is the length here? So they say, what they say? They say this length. Okay. So basically for the rectangle, I can label the length already. The length is x over 2 for the, so this is x over 2. And the height is 6 cm. And then for this, the height is 6 cm, which I need to figure out the base. So how do you figure out the base? The base, what I read here is I can read this, the total. This whole thing is 2x plus 5. This whole thing is 2x plus 5. And then from here to here is x minus 2. I mean, x divided by 2. So how do you get these two?
2x plus
Yeah,
5.
2x plus 5 minus x over 2, right?
Yeah.
Then you will get the combination of this and this, right? Then, but you don't want to find the, you this and this, they add to this whole thing, but you want to find one of them. They are equal, so you divide by 2. So once you divide by 2, then you will get just one piece. Does it make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah. So once you have this, then you just, yeah. So your this part is this. This part is also this. Let me just write it down. Okay, so then with this, you can continue to find out the area of the first triangle, then the rectangle, and then the third triangle. Okay. So what is the formula for area of triangle?
The area of
Base times height, right? Base
Yeah.
times height minus x over 2 divided by 2 base times height, and then half it. Okay. Area of triangle. Sorry. Area of triangle is half times base times height. That's the formula. So I have demonstrated it here already. So if so, you don't do this. So you just do the bracket first. Those divide by 2, you get 3. Divide by 2, you get 1. So you just have this. So 2x plus 5 minus x over 2. Okay, let me do it PowerPoint, which is easier. Let me just get this to PowerPoint. Good. Okay, I can do it here. Okay. Area of triangle is half times base times height. So half base is this one. This is the base. So just 2x plus 5 minus. By the way, x minus 2 is, x divided by 2, this whole thing, right? X divided by 2, you can simply change it to 0.5x. Okay? X divided by 2 is, do you know that x divided by 2 is 0.5x? Can you tell? X divided by 2 is 0.5x?
X divided by
Okay, good. So I just, okay. If you're not sure, probably I just demo to you. X divided by 2 is equal to half x. Half is 0.5, so there is 0.5x. So that's how I transform. So instead of doing this, I do with minus 0.5 because it's easier for me. So I'm not going to use this. I'm not going to use this. Okay. Or rather, I'm not going to use this two. I just replace by my minus 0.5x. So let me simplify this first because it's going to help me. So it's 2x plus 5 minus 0.5x and then divide by 2. So you have 2x here, you have minus 0.5x. So you end up with 1.5x plus 5 divided by 2. So the base is actually this, okay, which is simpler. So it's easier. So the base is actually this. So I'm going to sub in my base 1.5x plus 5 over 2 times 6. The height is 6. So I'm going to do this. So 2 times 2. In fact, you can do base times, denominator times denominator. 2 times 2, you get 4. On top 6. So then you can, probably I should not. Okay, I should simplify first. This is 2, this is 6, so 3. Okay, then I just do it. So let me do it. So it's 1.5x plus 5 times 3. That means this thing times 2. So it's 3, you times in, you get 4.5x. 3 you times in, you get 15. And then you half it, so you get 4.5 divided by 2. So 9 over 2 is 4.5. You should get 9 over 4x. Okay, you need to use your calculator. Okay, don't use mental. Okay? So you should end up with this for the area of triangle. Okay, make use of the calculator. Okay, so you don't have to use your brain power so much. So this is the area for the first triangle. Then I need to do for the rectangle now. The rectangle is simpler. It's basically this base times, length times breadth. So which is 3x.
Okay.
Okay, so this is 3x. So this triangle and this triangle, they are the same. So you just, so the third one is this. Okay, so you have found out area of the first triangle, area of the second triangle, and then of course the rectangle. So if you need to find the total, just add these three up. Okay, does it make sense? So
Yeah.
3x plus 9 over 4x plus 15 over 2 is 7.5. 15 over 2 is 7.5. So I just 7.5. So I need to add one more time because I have two triangles, 7.5. So you just have to simplify this. Okay, so if you simplify this, I will leave it to you. Okay, for the simplification. But the area of the trapezium is this. Okay, divide and conquer. So good, so far so good.
Yeah.
Okay, so that means, in fact, trapezium. This is a trapezium. Trapezium is a composite figure. Okay, so let me just briefly talk about what's composite figure. Composite figure means is a combination of the not familiar regular shapes or regular figures. So what are regular figures? Triangle, rectangle, square. Yeah. So if next time you get a shape like this, so let me make use of that. Okay, so if next time you get a shape like this, so I'm going to so next time you get a shape like this, so what are you going to do? You just divide and conquer. Okay, so this is a composite figure. Okay, this is a composite figure. Right, this is a composite figure, and this composite figure is made up of 1, 2, 3, 4, four similar triangles plus a square. So your job, how do you find the area of this composite figure? So you just have to find out area of 1, area of 2, area of 3, area of 4, area of 5. Area of 5 is a square. Then the rest is a triangle, and they are the same. So you just have to find them out, and then ultimately you just add them up. Then you will get the area of this composite figure. All right, so this is the technique. This is the approach. Okay. All right. Hello, are you still there?
Yeah.
Yeah, good. Okay, so far so good. So this is the idea for you to find out the area of composite figure. So this is a composite figure, and then the trapezium is also a composite figure just now. All right, here. So you find out the three of this, and then you just add them up. Okay. Good. So before we continue to the second half of our lesson, we take a 5-minute break and we come back, shall we?
Yep.
Okay, good. So I will see you in 5 minutes. Okay, I'm back. Let me know when you're back.